All right, so you got your HX Stomp, maybe an XL, and you want to add some pedals to it because, well, obviously that's fun, but you don't know exactly which effects to add and what they will do to the signal flow, like which pedal should go where. Well, just so you know, I have been with the HX Stomp for a few years now. I've done all the experimentation, so I can be your guide today. We're gonna talk through what effects you should add to the HX Stomp, possibly, if you even need to, where to put them in the chain, how to hook them up, and all of that stuff. If you're new here, my name is Jimmy Cooper, and I started this channel to be a resource for worship leaders, and the HX Stomp has been a resource for me, and I just love the community around this piece of gear. With all the new stuff coming out, I still love Line 6, Helix, Pod Go, HX Stomp, all of it. I love it. It's been a huge resource for me. If you are gonna watch this video, great, find value, but if you are more of a visual, you want to print something out or see it on your computer like a PDF guide, I actually put one together. It's called my free Tone Secrets Guide for the HX Stomp, Helix, and Pod Go. It's my free gift to you. I'll link it down below. Now, when thinking about what effects to add to the HX Stomp, the first category I like to think through are effects that run into the front of the HX Stomp and don't go inside the HX Stomp through the effects loop. They go straight into the front of it, and this would be anything that would go in the front of a normal signal chain, like your pitch effects, fuzzes, compression, distortion, overdrives, and boosts, and pretty much in that order. I have a couple examples. This is my blackout board. I love this thing. I've had this for years. I run in front of the HX Stomp here, the Bekos Effects Comp IQ. This is a really good compressor that I absolutely love. I come out of that and I go into my Jackson Audio Broken Arrow, another great overdrive, MIDI controlled. I love this setup, but there's another combo I've really been enjoying, and that is the two pedals that are offered by Case Study right now. One is the Studio Compressor. This thing is beautiful. I love it. It's all blacked out. And I said I've been enjoying this combo. I haven't actually been enjoying it yet. I've played this several times, love it, but this one I just got in the mail. I haven't even hooked this up, but I've heard it online and it sounds beautiful. And this is their second pedal called the Aspen Overdrive. And I got both of them. Come on, focus. Focus. I got both of them. And if I were new to the HX Stomp and I wanted to add some pedals, I would be adding these for sure. And I'm definitely gonna give you some playing samples in this video. I mean, how cool would a mini board be if it was just these three pedals? I mean, that's all you would need. You would come in the compressor, go to the Aspen Overdrive, into the Stomp. You wouldn't even need to go into the effects loop. I love these because there's a bunch of different switches here. I'll show you some samples. I'll get to it. I mean, that's beautiful. I love it. I kind of want to build another mini board right now. Okay, the second area of effects to think about that's next in the signal chain, that would be modulation. Now, I got to be honest here. I feel like the HX Stomp modulations are fantastic. I don't think you need to add modulation. So I'm just gonna say, unless you have modulation pedal, like I do, someone generously gifted me the Walrus Audio M1 modulation station. I absolutely love this pedal. If you're like me and you have a pedal that you love, you can put it in your HX Stomp, but you don't need to because the modulations in here are fantastic. There's a bunch of them, but some noteworthy ones are the Dimension Chorus. It's my favorite. It's got like those 4 little toggles like the old Boss one. There's also the Retro Reel, which can really give you that realness effect to your digital modeler. I made a video about that. I'll link it. Gosh, I never remember. I should definitely know this by now. I'll link it up at the top or down below. You can go check that out. And another modulation I use more often is the bubble vibrato. If you're into vibrato and you want to make your parts stand out, I love those 3 effects. Go check those out. So in my opinion, you do not need to add modulation to the HX Stomp. Now, number 3, the next section is probably the most important section, and that is your wet section. So we're talking about delays and reverbs. And let me be honest again, the delays inside the HX Stomp, I'm completely satisfied with them. There are so many in there, they can do anything you want, and there's a lot of benefits to using the delays in the HX Stomp. One of which is that you can assign your delays to change BPM based on your snapshots or your presets or your banks. You can do all that. That's a huge benefit. I use that all the time. I personally like to switch my delay BPM to per snapshot, and I use a song per snapshot so I can just stay on the same preset for pretty much my whole set. I have plenty of videos on here demonstrating exactly how to do that. Also, the tap tempo on the units themselves are better than any that I've hooked up to them. They are the most responsive, and you can see the blinking, and it's just the onboard tap tempo is the best. But just like with the modulation, if you have a delay that you must have, it's also good to add delay to it. One of my favorite delays right now is the Jet Pedals Eternity. This thing is amazing because it's TRS MIDI controlled, so you can control this thing via MIDI. It's stereo in and out. It has like 6 different algorithms, tap tempo. This thing is amazing. And if you are interested in any of the jet pedals that I may mention in this video, because I'm about to mention my favorite one, you can click my link and you don't even have to put in a code. The code is already embedded into my link. I think it's like 20% off. So if you're in the market to get any of these pedals, use my link below. Thanks. So delay, you don't have to have it. Don't feel like you have to have an external delay. But if you want to, great. Which leads into my next favorite effect ever, and you already saw it on my mini board. Here's the latest version. It is the Jet Pedals Revelation. I have every version except their first one, which was mono, but I have every version that they've come out with since, and I love them all. They have the 3-knob version, which was on my mini board, and this is the brand new 4-knob version. It's the Radiant Space, and this also has 6 different algorithms compared to the previous version that only had 3. The shimmer is great. It's better than any of the other shimmers I found in any of the big name brand pedals. I actually did a demo, a head-to-head comparison of that. I'll link up here as well, and down below you should go check that out. The sub octave, the anti-shimmer, is fantastic for creating like cinematic ambient pads, especially if you're playing and you don't have a keyboard player. That's perfect. But the algorithm I go to the most is the modulation algorithm, and I put the effect all the way up and I just adjust it. I usually put like so here's what I do. I put a room reverb, just a regular standard room reverb from the Legacy Effects. That's like my always on, just gives me a nice clean sound that's almost dry, but not dry. It's just my room reverb. And then on this reverb, on the preset mode, I will have like my semi-ambient, like a little bit more wet, something I would use for a lead line with my delays. It's a real much wetter sound. And then on the active side, where the bypass switch is, I have my super ambient, my swells. And when you go in between the preset and the bypass side, or the live setting side, there's like this 5-second transition it's perfect. Now, I get questions all the time about how to hook this up into this. If I wanted to put something into the effects loop, I made a very detailed video. I will link that up here as well, but let me just show you real quick. Okay, so I can't find the cable. There's one on my pedal board over there, but basically on this side, it will have an 1/8 inch. Well, no, you want a 1/4 inch. This is an 1/8 inch, but you can, the cable that's linked below, basically it's TRS. The important thing I'm trying to show you is that it's TRS. There's 2 black rings there. That means it's stereo. That comes directly out of the send. Once you have your little adapter or you get the correct cable, you go into your pedal with 2 TS cables into the pedal. You come out with 2 regular patch cables and return them back into the left and right returns. And if you choose to use the effects loop like that, you have to make sure that you use an effect block on every preset that you want, because if you open up a preset and there's no effect block, it doesn't matter that the effects loop is hooked up. If there's no effects loop block, you won't get any sound from those effects. I hope that makes sense. All right, what other pedals? Well, we have to talk about amp modeling. The amps inside the HX Stomp are fantastic. I have plenty of videos showing you how you can dial in good presets. I make presets that you can grab. Hey, the EXPANSE pack, it's an ever-growing collection of presets. Little shameless plug here. You pay once, it's like a subscription, but you only have to pay once. You get updates for free, for life. But hold on a second. If you don't know, IK Multimedia just released these little guys here as the Tone X1. You could use these with the HX Stomp and replace the amp modeling and just use the HX Stomp for different effects. This is probably the cheapest way to go because you have 8 blocks in here that you can use for effects, and you can just come straight out. You don't even have to put it in the effects loop. Although you could run 2 of these into the effects loop, just like I showed you with the Revelation, and you could move your amp anywhere you want. You could put your wet effects after, or you could just run this or an HX Effects if you don't want to buy this. And I'm just saying, if you already have one of these, you could bypass the amp and cab in here and have like 8 spots for any effect you want: overdrives, compression, modulation, delay, reverb, and run them into 2 Tone X1s or a regular Tone X. So that's another option. It doesn't have to be Tone X. I'm not paid to say that. You could also use any other stereo amp solutions like the Walrus Audio ACS1. This is the updated version. This thing sounds amazing as well. And there are a bunch of other things you can do as well. And if you want to follow me along as I build a preset from scratch, you can do it with me. We can build this preset together using my top 5 tone tips. Watch this video right here. Don't forget to grab the Tone Secrets guide. It's my free gift to you, and I'll see you in that other video. Bye.